eyes. Let's begin with a grounding meditation. You can close your eyes. Let us begin the grounding meditation. Just helping us to stay more grounded in the here and now and helping us to relax and be more open. So take a deep breath in and let go. A deep breath in and let go. With each out breath, feel that you're relaxing in a deeper manner. Also, with each out breath, feel that you're letting go of everything that is not needed. Feel the weight of the body. Feel the sensation of the body from the head to the foot. The sensation of the body can only be experienced in the now. So it's a beautiful way of anchoring yourself in the now. Be aware of the space around the form, the temperature of the air, and give yourself permission to be here together with me, with all of us, in an open manner. Be open to receiving whatever is right for you. Drop all old ideas. Sometimes old ideas prevent us from accepting anything new. So just make an intention that you are completely open to learn something new, to discover something new. It's not really learning actually, because your true self already knows it. Be open to letting go of ideas that no longer serve you. We can also set an intention. Divine, I would like to lead a life of fulfillment, love, peace, and happiness. If there are any ideas which are blocking me from this fulfillment, please help me to release them. Please help me to discover what is true abundance. I have lived from the ego's ways, and now I want to live from the ways of my true self. So just saying that prayer, connecting to any master that you feel guided to. Slowly open your eyes. Hi, Heather. Welcome to the session. So let us begin exploring divine abundance. So I'll begin the session with a question. What is abundance for you? Would you like to share? What is the meaning of abundance? What signifies abundance for you? When you think of an abundant life, what comes to your mind? Good health, wisdom, definitely. Yes. to let go of control and embrace full love of life. Very good. Okay. So in a way, letting go of the small contracted ego self, which is bound with time, to your eternal spiritual self. You can also say that. Peace with what is. Peace and health. So when we talk about peace, can you recognize that the ego has certain ideas about peace many times, that I will be peaceful when certain criteria is met. So it's important to ask, is the peace that you're seeking, is it unconditional peace or is it a conditional peace? I will be peaceful. There is a criteria there based mostly on time. Okay. Is there a criteria for the peace? Be very, very open and honest, friends. Very important to be very honest. What is holding you back from peace? Because I think in the end of the day, everyone wants to live peacefully, uh, wants to feel complete, wants to lead, a life of love. So if you look at abundance, really it is about love, peace, happiness, and feeling of completion, right? So what is blocking you from living a life of peace? Yes, Nikki. The ego is holding you back. So it's a very, very good discovery. And it's also very, very beautiful that you say it, because that's how every journey begins, right? It's with the acceptance. A lot of people don't want to accept it. They just follow um, the pull of the ego and they just go in that direction. But for you to say, my ego is holding me back, is a very good discovery, very good declaration. And then you can start exploring, how is the ego holding me back in my day-to-day life? What are the conditions of the ego? What is the criteria of the ego for love, peace, and happiness? Letting go of control, yes, right. So uh, the ego feels a certain number of things are needed for happiness. Whatever the criteria are, each ego has its own programming. So each of the programming will be different, but there is a programming, because the ego is basically programming. Okay. So if we, let us say, a lot of times as we're growing up, based on our family conditioning, based on the society conditioning, a lot of times abundance is based on certain criteria. What could they be? One is, you are abundant if you have plenty of financial freedom, financial success, whatever it is, the house, the cars, then, people look at you like you are, you're successful, or, let's say abundant, right? Another thing that often is associated with abundance is maybe, having somebody in your life, a relationship, or, the marital status. This is again imposed by society and conditioning, where we feel that uh, you have to be with somebody. A lot of times in India, I don't know if it happens there, is, they'll ask, when are you going to settle down, right? So even if the person is financially successful and leading a successful life, the person will ask, when are you going to settle down? So the feeling of settle down seems to be like, then you're going to be fulfilled, right? And then a lot of times it could be like how the way you look, a lot of times, especially around New Year's, you see so many people signing up for the fitness programs and things like that, feeling that this year, I'm going to look better. So all of these do have their importance. I'm not saying they're not important, uh, but if we have a checklist, let's say, of all these things, and we ask 1,000 people to fill it up, just by the fulfilling of this checklist, is there a guarantee that you're going to be happy? Is there a assurance that this checklist being met is going to make us happy? because the ego will make it very personal. It will say, my life is okay in these areas. I just want this one thing, to get sorted out, and then I'll be happy. But that is the promise that has been given for us, for many of us, even for decades, right? Years and decades. That's the promise of the ego. Let just this one thing get sorted, and then I'm going to be happy. Right? So is abundance like a checklist that when certain things are met, we're going to be happy? If that is the case, a lot of times, even if you look at the lives of celebrities, they seem to have it all, right? The looks, the money, they have the most beautiful, maybe partner also. But then you see that you hear things, either an addiction, a drug addiction, or some other issues. So they had the checklist met, but not necessarily everyone, but we do know there are certain people uh, that the checklist is met, but they're not happy. And if we come closer to our own life, we feel sometimes a checklist has been met, but something is still, feeling lacking. Like they often say, the first time I got into a large corporation, the campus was beautiful, and there was a cafeteria with free food, and everything was so glamorous compared to the place that I worked in earlier. It was a very small place, and I was like, if I just get out of this place, I'm going to be happy. If I work in an MNC, I'm going to be happy, and then I would have made it. And once I reached that place, obviously initially there was a lot of happiness, and I was like, oh yes, I've done it. Feeling of accomplishment. And then soon, that same feeling of lack started creeping in. And it made it worse because everything was so beautiful, and I was, feeling so ungrateful. But it was not being ungrateful. There was something in me which was not met, which was not fulfilled. So even in our life, we can realize that sometimes some things do happen the way we want, but that happiness does not last, or it changes. Really? Exactly. So once you settle down, then the next question is when we're going to start a family. So it looks like, they have made created a rule book, whoever the they is, and there's an assurance of happiness when you follow the rule book, but then you realize that most of the people who even ask those questions seem to have issues of their own. So why is this? Why is this the case? Why is this the scenario where even certain criteria being met does not make us happy? So let's speak a little bit about this, friends. This is very, very important. And maybe you've heard it before, maybe it's the first time, but be completely open, right? So consciousness, or your true self, is spirit. It is not matter. It is an essence, right? It is something that's felt tangible in your heart, but you can't really see it. Sometimes when you listen to some very beautiful music, you might say, that touched my soul, right? Somewhere we know that there is this part of us which is beyond the senses, which is beyond matter, right? So that is the substratum of all existence: consciousness, the true self, spirit, the soul spirit union, whatever way, whatever name you give it, it is that oneness, it is that one presence, it's the divine presence. It is formless and incorporeal, not made of matter. So that one divine presence is the source of all life, right? From the smallest grain of sand to the largest galaxy. And it is a source and substratum of this form and every other form. So what has happened is, with a lot of the materialistic culture coming in, and it's general human conditioning. We don't know when it started. The attention withdrew from essence, withdrew from the soul of the planet, soul of the person, and it became uh, completely mesmerized by form. What is form? Form is the effect in consciousness. Form is a manifestation of consciousness. But without consciousness, form cannot exist, right? So, what happened is the conditioning made us look to the world for everything, and the essential nature of our true self, the essential nature of our very existence, the existence of our planet is lost. The soul is lost. And with the soul being lost, what happens is we feel something lacking, right? This lack is not there, essentially when we are born. As you can see in infants, there is always one kind of a joy. There's a kind of peace. The eyes are shining. They're just literally like just so blissful being with them. And they don't have to say a word. You're just blissful, touching their hand, just being with them. Where does that joy come from? It comes from being connected to God, being connected to essence. And so as we grow up, we feel this kind of, slowly the memories happen. Sorry, the experiences happen, difficult experiences. We sent to school. It seems to be a very foreign environment for a child, and there you feel a sense of separation from the mother. And like that, men experience after experience starts making us feel so separate from that divine presence that we were born with. And then we feel like, oh, this lack of love, I'm going to find it. I'm going to be successful, I'm going to get good grades, then my parents will be happy, right? So the conditions around happiness starts coming, and we start seeking. So the seeking starts from that age, even from school. And then when we're teenagers, we feel more separate and more seeking happens. And then we look for it in another person. We feel this lack of love. I feel maybe this person has to fulfill it for me. So we project our lack of love onto another person. So what is happening is a simple turning away from the world towards ourselves. That simple turning we have not been taught. The essence of our existence has been lost. So that is why, friends, sometimes you might feel like you got that new job, but it doesn't. The happiness doesn't last. You have found your life partner. You're very happy together, but then the honeymoon period starts. Ending, and then you feel that same lack again. The lack which seemed to be uh, erased by the other person seems to be coming back again. So it's not about the job, it's not about your partner, it's not about any of the things of the world, because they are just effects. They do not have the power to complete you. So the power to complete you, the power to feel love, the power to feel fulfillment is in your true self. It is in essence, it is not in matter. And I know this is really a big thing, for many of us, and it goes against years of conditioning. But just tune into your heart, place your hand at the center of the chest, and just ask yourself the question, is it possible that love, peace, happiness is my birthright? Is it possible that I have been looking for it outside, but it's right here in my heart, in my spiritual heart, which is one with the divine? So tune into this question and intuitively just feel what is the answer. And as we're exploring, maybe we'll just do a quick meditation. Realize, friends, that your true self is formless. So, one beautiful and very simple way of recognizing that is with your eyes closed, feeling that open spaciousness. Doing that, all the masters, all the scriptures are always pointing to the formlessness, that which cannot be perceived through senses, that which is eternally present, that which is beyond space and time. So just like a child with childlike innocence, feel that this space which is you're experiencing with your eyes closed is your true self. You don't have to imagine the space, friends. Whatever experience you have with your eyes closed, it feels like a dimensionless presence. Just stay with that. Be aware of the space. All our lives, we have given importance to thoughts, given importance to matter. So just for a few minutes now, just see how does it feel to be aware of the space of your soul, space of your true self, which is here right now. Due to the old habit, thoughts will come. Friends, don't worry about it. I'm going to periodically remind you. If I say return to the space, just disconnect from that thought process by returning your awareness to the space. Return to space. That means move your attention to space. Gently. There's no need for any fight. You are the true self and you appear as a form self. And it's been a old habit to associate with the form self. So here you're just discovering that you have another dimension, a larger dimension, a more powerful dimension of existing. Return your awareness to the space. No need to fight thoughts. Return to space. Your true self is happiness. Your true self is peace. It's not based on the peace of the world or the conditions of the world. It is unconditional love, unconditional peace, and it is infinite power also. This is the completion you have been seeking. Last few minutes, become a little aware and alert. Move your awareness to space. Be anchored in the space awareness. Be like a child, be very simple, and keep your awareness on space. As you're aware of space, just check how do you feel. Can you sense the peace? Can you sense the ease? Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. And as you open your eyes, realize that the peace is very much here. Your true self is very much here. Really, Nikki, I will answer your questions. Before that, I would like to just take a quick feedback from people. How did you feel with the meditation? How do you feel when you're aware of space? or any other comments? How do you feel with what has been shared, that your true nature is the source of all happiness? Feeling good, Jenny? Yes, it's unconditional freedom, your true self. Calm, wonderful, it's calm. It's really returning to our divine qualities. Initially, we glimpse it in meditation, but with time, we start finding it even in times when we're not meditating. You might sit quietly, and then suddenly you feel a sense of calm, and then it becomes your life. So that's how it begins. We take small steps. Anybody else? How did you feel? Please share. So, Renee, your question is it because we're living in the future where we feel we will be happy? Yes. So the ego aspect of us is based on time. Renee. It has been created at some point in our upbringing. We're not born with it. So the ego is a programming. And the programming is always about time, past or future. So the ego will live for some people it'll live in regret. Oh, I had this, great time and now it's gone. Or it could be the other way. I had such a difficult life. I'm such a victim, poor me, that kind of thing. So the ego can operate like that, connected to the past. Or it can operate in the future, right? It can say, when certain conditions are met, I'm going to be happy, right? We have all seen that. And life just continues like that. And it's like a moving milestone. We never seem to reach it, right? We're there, and then there is another obstacle, or we're there, uh, and the happiness is short-lived, right? So, so the ego thrives on time, and if we can like this meditation, really just coming back to the space of the now, coming back to the silence, which is the silence of the divine, then you realize that your happiness is not really time bound. Even if we just have a glimpse of it in the session, it is fine. Then, the divine will make sure that you get more glimpses when you start valuing that glimpse. Nikki, is it in the fight with the ego that makes us unable to achieve peace until we operate with spirit? So the ego and peace will not go together, Nikki. That's why I said, I mentioned earlier. So many people may have, completely fulfilled that checklist of abundance, but if you ask them, they may still not be happy. So the ego is based. Let me put it this way: the ego is created out of a lack of love. It is created out of a sense of separation from all of life. It is created out of pain, right? Maybe somebody treated you badly, or like that experiences come up. There are many reasons why the ego is formed. One of them is lack of love and a sense of separation, right? So when that sense of separation is formed and you feel I am separate, then there is a need to mm, validate yourself. So that's how the fight starts. I have to prove myself. I have to make other people love me. So the ego always is trying to fulfill its lack of love, but it does not have that power. It tries, but it does not have the power. So the only thing we need to do is recognize that yes, people treat me like a form self. I operate as a form self, which is totally fine. All of us have to do that. But is there another dimension to my existence? Am I just this form born one day, going through struggles, and one day I'll die? Or is there more? Am I a soul? Am I a spiritual self? So, in these meditations, as you explore that, as you feel that peace, you have a sense of knowing that, yes, I am more. So the idea of the struggles is also for us to move away from the contracted ego self to the expanded true self. And I know that for many of you, this it could be, I don't know individually where your journey is, but even if it is new and something in me or something in my words is resonating with you, friends, just continue to, attend the live sessions, listen to my audios, because these things are not, very popular topics, right? A lot of times, the focus is more on how do I get external abundance, right? So this might feel a little challenging for your intellect or your true self, but just hang in there. It's true, the more you meditate, the more amazing it becomes. I won't enter it, but I feel the amazing feeling starting to return. Yes, Renee, I totally agree with you. And it is such a sweetness, it is such freedom to feel peace in your own self. When you stop feeling like sometimes, when we are unloved or when we go through difficult memories and that lack of love is inside us. I mean, speaking for myself, I would feel like I was looking for that love from uh, someone outside of me. And when I looked for that love, I felt very needy. I felt very powerless. And sometimes it was met, sometimes it was not met. So part of me was like, this can't be the way I want to live my life, always depending on another person for me to feel complete, for me to feel happy. And and I'm glad, I'm really glad that it happened, because then there was this pull to look within myself, look to the divine for my fulfillment. And then what happens is that since you're connected to the source of abundance, and you're vibrating with higher energies now, you're vibrating with peace, you're vibrating with harmony, you're vibrating with love, the outer world has no choice but to reflect this harmony. It's not that everything will go our way. Okay, I'm not saying that, but life definitely becomes more harmonious. Just to give you an example, like an analogy, suppose you have infinite supply of water in your house, and there are some ice cubes, and of course you have a refrigerator. And but somehow you mistake the ice cubes to be abundance, and you say, "I'm running out of ice cubes. I'm running out of ice cubes." But the water is there, but you're not aware of it. So our true self is here, but most people are unaware of it. So, and somebody says, "But you have the source itself. Why you have infinite supply of water. Why are you worried about ice cubes? Ice cubes are just another formation of the water." And then you realize, oh my God, I've been looking at, uh, you know, my focus has been on the effect. I have not been focusing on the source. So then when you start focusing on the source and realize that you are a child of the divine and you vibrate with these new energies of love, peace, harmony, then all areas of life seem to be uh, reflecting this harmony that you have found within. As within, so without. Hi, Melanie. Did you just join? We're almost ending the session now, but I guess there will be a recording which is available. I think it's there for a day. Does anybody want to share any feedback on what was being shared in the session? Okay, Melanie, do make sure you listen to the recording. I think it comes up in the homepage of the app. Okay. Yeah. You're welcome. I hope this session was helpful for you, friends. Really, thank you for your donation. Nikki, yes. So please, continue to follow the live sessions, Nikki. And there are a few meditations I would recommend. The I Am meditation, uh, meditation for overthinking, and I think relief from obsessive thoughts. So understand, Nikki, that the ego is a effect in consciousness. So these teachings cannot be understood by your intellect. So don't try to somehow force the understanding into the intellect. When time comes, yes, it will appear, but not, not, but we cannot force it. Okay, so just do your meditations, and in your direct experience, Nikki, check if there is peace. Then don't try to, even when you're meditating or listening to a guidance, don't try to uh, make it into a concept. Don't try to I'm getting the word. Convince your intellect. Don't try to convince your intellect that this works. So just for the duration of the meditation, keep the intellect aside. Don't try to understand. Rather try to live it. For example, suppose you're hugging a child. Okay, you hug that child and you feel that warmth and peace, right? And it just touches your heart. So you would not try to say, okay, this child is very innocent, so I'm hugging the child and I'm feeling the peace, right? It just takes the beauty away from it. So even with meditation, just become like the innocent. That's why I repeated quite a few times the innocence of the child. So all you have to do, Nikki, is when thoughts arise, saying, what is happening? Does it work like this? Just for the duration of the meditation, just focus on the anchor. All my meditations usually have an anchor. Today's anchor was space, right? Or it could be I am, or it could be space with eyes open. So if you explore my meditations, you will find it. So the summary is, do not take the intellect along with the spiritual journey. Just leave it aside. Just do your meditations with openness, and the divine will guide your way. Don't allow the ego to guide your way. It's not at all wise, and it cannot do it, basically. You're welcome. Okay. So Muji, one of the masters, says the truth is simple, but the secret of truth is complicated, right? So it's our intellect which makes it very complicated. Actually, the divine is right here in every breath, in every now. Okay, Melanie. Where are you joining from? I think you mentioned it last time. So friends, if you like my work, please share. I don't know if Aura has an option to share with friends. Yeah, so I don't know, through Aura or outside Aura, you can just spread the word. And I also have a series called Letting Grace In. If you would like to explore about grace and this approach, a spiritual approach, you can listen to the series. It's a 7-day series, Letting Grace In. It's almost like a course actually. So you practice one lesson in each day, and you listen to one lesson each day and practice that learning for the rest of the day. So do explore that. And also, I think at the end of the live session, there is an option to submit your review. I would really appreciate if you could submit a review. And these live sessions are offered free of charge. But if you feel that, if you feel like donating, please do that. This will be shared between the teacher and And I also have the one-on-one coaching options on the app. So if you're interested in a one-on-one session, you can contact me. So along with meditation, I also teach a method called emotional healing with divine love. So this is a healing method which is very, very different from the general approaches. Here, the emotion is acknowledged, and it's also surrendered to the divine presence through a series of steps. And and this is a very powerful way, because we're not trying to heal the emotion through the mind, but we're just acknowledging it and surrendering it to the divine source, divine presence, which turns it and transmutes it back to love. So if you're interested in a one-on-one healing session also, you can get in touch with me. Yes, Melanie, definitely. Always, meditation is always good. It's very good, useful to make it a daily practice. Okay, everyone, I'll end the live session today, and I will set up a few more live sessions, and please make sure you click on attend so that you have a reminder from your calendar. Are there any closing comments? I'll look at it. Renee, I didn't see your comment. Sometimes I recognize the ego as a child who needs to be acknowledged, but ask it to calm down as you tell it. Yes, it's very true. That kind of a compassionate approach towards the ego is good, because sometimes if you really look at it, the ego is, it's a self-protecting mechanism. It is misunderstood. It's not intelligent. It has misunderstandings about how to resolve issues, but still there's no need to be harsh. We can be loving, we can be kind, but we don't have to follow it anymore. Okay, friends, I'll end the live session now. So I wish you lots of love, peace, and happiness, and many, many divine blessings. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you all in the next live session. Thank you, Donald. Namaste, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.